Have you ever noticed something quietly unsettling? That when you finally start becoming true to yourself, the people who've known you longest begin acting strangely distant? They won't tell you directly, of course. Instead, they'll gently mask their discomfort with subtle jokes, cautious advice, or quiet hesitation whenever your conversations drift toward something deeper. Strange, isn't it? The closer you get to authenticity, the further you seem to drift from those you once called your closest friends. But why exactly does this happen? Because when you decide to grow, to genuinely step into your truth, you unintentionally disrupt the familiar narratives they've built around their lives and yours. Your newfound honesty quietly challenges their comfort zones, forcing them to confront uncomfortable questions they've been skillfully avoiding for years. Carl Jung described this journey as individuation, the brave and often solitary process of becoming your true self, free from the expectations and masks you've worn for too long. It's a powerful but isolating path, and maybe you're already feeling the weight of that isolation. Misunderstood, judged, or quietly alone, even among familiar faces. Take a moment and think deeply about this. What truly scares you more, the loneliness you might feel in being authentic, or the quiet, gradual emptiness that comes from living your life to please someone else? Ask yourself honestly, are you truly living your own story, or are you still performing a role scripted by the expectations of others? When you truly begin to live authentically, something unexpected often occurs. You might notice a subtle discomfort emerging among those who've known you longest. The carefree laughter, the easy conversations, these gradually give way to quiet hesitation, awkward silences, even gentle criticisms. Why does your decision to embrace authenticity unsettle those around you? The answer lies deep beneath the surface. Consider this mini-story. Imagine someone who has always been cheerful, friendly, effortlessly blending into every social circle. People loved being around her because she made everyone feel good, even at her own expense. But beneath her warmth was a quiet exhaustion, an emptiness she couldn't ignore. One day she decided enough was enough. No more forced smiles, no more bending her personality to fit others' expectations. She started living honestly, speaking her truths, saying no when necessary. Almost immediately, those once drawn to her pulled away. Friends began quietly questioning her changes, suggesting she was losing herself. But in reality, wasn't she finally discovering herself? Who then is truly in control of your life? Is it you, or the silent expectations others have carefully placed upon your shoulders? Digging deeper, we must acknowledge the truth about strength. Real power isn't born out of comfort, ease, or simplicity. Nietzsche profoundly understood this when he stated that inner strength arises from chaos and suffering. Your deepest personal evolution doesn't happen when everything feels peaceful or secure. It takes root when you're forced to confront chaos head-on. Much like a diamond, which only forms under extreme pressure, the resilience of your spirit can only emerge from facing, rather than avoiding, life's difficulties. Think about it clearly. If the very pain you're feeling right now, the emotional confusion, isolation, and doubt, is the necessary condition for you to emerge stronger, wiser, and authentically yourself, would you still choose to run from it? Or could you consider embracing it as a catalyst for genuine transformation? Yet, what happens when you resist this inner calling, choosing instead to keep living by others' expectations? Gradually, inevitably, a quiet emptiness sets in. Living to meet external expectations is much like wearing clothes someone else picked out for you. At first, you might not notice any difference. The fit feels fine, acceptable. But as days turn into months, you slowly forget how your own choices even feel. You lose touch with your own sense of comfort, your natural way of being. Eventually, the clothes become so familiar that you no longer recognize the shape of your own body beneath them. Your entire identity subtly shifts, and soon you find yourself living someone else's story, playing out a role that was never yours to begin with. Pause for a moment and reflect deeply. Is the life you're currently living truly yours, or has it become a carefully scripted performance written by someone else? Have you been wearing an identity that no longer fits you simply because it's safer than risking judgment or rejection? But there is another way, a profoundly different path, though not without risk. Genuine strength, genuine courage, doesn't mean never feeling pain. It means daring to live authentically, knowing fully well you might get hurt along the way. This is the paradox of real strength. It isn't about invulnerability, but rather about your willingness to step bravely into vulnerability. Carl Jung described this transformative process as individuation, the brave journey of letting go of the outdated self you've constructed to please others. It requires courage to shed those familiar yet false layers of identity, stepping naked and vulnerable into your own truth. Individuation asks you to leave behind the safe harbor of pleasing others and venture into uncertain, sometimes turbulent waters of self-discovery. It's an inner call you've likely heard before, whispering in your quiet moments, inviting you gently yet persistently toward authenticity. So here's a question, perhaps the most crucial question you can ask yourself at this moment. Are you truly ready to let go of the comfortable illusions and false securities you've built your life around and embrace the challenging yet liberating journey back to yourself? Can you honestly look at the safety you've clung to, the approval, the validation, the carefully maintained masks, and recognize them for what they truly are? Barriers standing between you and the person you've always longed to become? Think carefully, because your answer might just reshape the very course of your life. You've likely been told that true strength lies in never falling, never failing, never showing vulnerability. From a young age, society conditions us to believe that strength equals perfection, a flawless image carefully crafted for the world to admire. But pause for a moment. Does that idea really reflect the truth of your experience? Is real strength truly about perfection and invulnerability? Nietzsche, in his profound insight, challenges this comforting yet deeply misleading notion. He teaches us that genuine strength isn't about remaining untouched by life's storms, but about how you respond after you've been broken. It's not about never feeling pain, never experiencing setbacks or emotional wounds. It's about your quiet, resilient determination to stand up again and again, despite the gravity pulling you down. Think clearly for a moment about the moments in your life when you've truly grown stronger. Were they times of peace and comfort, or were they the moments when you felt deeply shattered, lost, and uncertain about your path forward? The irony of strength is that it doesn't grow in fertile, easy soil. It grows in darkness, uncertainty, and pressure. It grows from the ruins of your past self, from the very chaos you've spent a lifetime avoiding. Imagine a beautiful vase, delicate and precious, falling and shattering onto the floor. Its once smooth surface now fragmented into countless, sharp, seemingly unusable pieces. At first glance, it seems irreparable, ruined beyond recognition. But what if the true beauty lies not in the vase's original perfection, but in what happens next? The Japanese art of kintsugi repairs broken pottery with gold, believing that the scars, the cracks, and the imperfections don't diminish its worth. They enhance it, creating a masterpiece even more unique and valuable than before. You too are not that broken vase left hopelessly shattered. You are the craftsman, the careful artist who now must decide how to put the pieces back together. The decision of what pieces to keep and which to leave behind rests entirely in your hands. Each fragment represents something from your past, your wounds, mistakes, disappointments, even the lingering expectations from others. Now ask yourself, genuinely and deeply, the fragments you're desperately holding on to, are they truly yours? Or are they merely shadows of who someone else once expected you to be? Take a moment to reflect quietly on this question. It's easy, almost automatic, to cling to old identities, past failures, or long outdated expectations. After all, they're familiar, and familiarity often feels deceptively safe, even comforting. But familiarity doesn't always mean authenticity. Often those familiar fragments you grasp so tightly are nothing more than reflections of someone else's desires for your life. They're pieces of an identity carefully crafted to satisfy others, rather than a truthful expression of who you genuinely are. True strength, therefore, requires you not just to rebuild, but to selectively rebuild. It calls for courage, the courage to discard the fragments that no longer belong to your authentic self, even when releasing them feels painful and uncertain. Real courage means choosing authenticity over approval, integrity over comfort, and growth over familiar stagnation. Now consider this deeply and clearly. What old narratives, expectations, or identities are you still carrying around, silently letting them weigh you down? Are these fragments genuinely reflective of who you are now, or simply memories you're holding onto out of habit or fear? What if the brokenness you've been afraid of showing isn't a flaw to be hidden, but rather the very source of your strength? The truth is, vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the gateway to authentic power. It's the honest acknowledgement of your humanity, the admission that you're imperfect yet resilient, scarred yet beautiful. So, ask yourself one of the most crucial and challenging questions you can face. Are you willing to release the comfort of your old self, the familiar but false sense of safety, and embrace the discomfort and uncertainty required to become the person you truly want to be? The truth is, holding on to pieces that no longer serve you is like trying to walk forward while constantly looking backward. It keeps you stuck, uncertain, and exhausted. You might fear letting go because those fragments represent a part of your past, a piece of who you used to be. But remember, who you used to be does not define who you must become. Today, right here and now, you have a choice. You can choose to remain trapped within your past, allowing old fragments to dictate your future, or you can courageously pick up only the pieces that genuinely reflect the person you wish to become, carefully creating a masterpiece that authentically represents your own journey. Remember, strength isn't about avoiding pain or never facing adversity. Strength is about your willingness to acknowledge your brokenness without letting it define you. It's about picking yourself up, carefully gathering your fragments, and creating something beautiful, powerful, and uniquely yours. Pause deeply and think once more. What masterpiece are you choosing to build from the fragments of your past? Are you shaping something true to yourself, or are you still building to please the expectations of others? The choice has always been, and will always remain, yours. Stepping onto the path of genuine authenticity isn't a journey you take lightly. It's not a decision made without sacrifice. When you finally decide to let go of those masks you've worn so comfortably for so long, you inevitably risk losing connections that once seemed unbreakable. Friendships might fade, familiar conversations could become strained, and relationships that defined your sense of security may quietly dissolve. But here's the deeper truth that few people fully grasp. While you might lose certain familiar comforts, what you gain in return is profoundly greater, an extraordinary freedom to be exactly who you truly are. Imagine spending your entire life in a carefully decorated room filled with objects chosen by others. It's comfortable, yes. Everything placed exactly where others decided it should be. You move around cautiously, trying not to disturb anything, living quietly and obediently within boundaries someone else created for you. But inside, something feels subtly wrong, like a lingering, hollow ache that never truly fades. It's a feeling you've probably known for a long time, yet perhaps never fully acknowledged. Then one day, driven by the quiet courage of honesty, you open the door and step out. Initially, it's disorienting. Outside the room is uncertainty, unpredictability, and a fresh openness you haven't encountered before. It feels risky and vulnerable. And yet, for the first time, you begin to breathe deeply, unrestricted by expectations you never truly owned. In that moment of courageous honesty, you finally begin to rediscover who you genuinely are, your own thoughts, your own dreams, your own voice, free from the endless weight of pleasing others. Pause deeply and consider, would you trade that newfound freedom, that moment of authentic clarity, for the safety of your old familiar room, simply because it feels safer? Or have you reached the point where the comfort of familiarity is no longer enough to justify the cost of losing yourself? Right now, take just a quiet moment to acknowledge within yourself one small truth, one little piece of yourself that you've been pretending doesn't exist. Maybe it's something as simple as admitting that you're tired of forcing a smile, tired of pretending you're always fine. Perhaps it's acknowledging a dream you've hidden away, afraid others might judge or misunderstand. It could even be accepting that the identity you've been wearing doesn't truly reflect your inner reality. Whatever that truth might be, hold it clearly in your mind and heart for a moment. Now I want you to gently take a step further. Grab a pen and write that small, honest truth down. Not because anyone else needs to see it, just you. Write it down simply as a quiet promise to yourself. Writing it doesn't make it easier or less frightening, but it does make it undeniably real. And realness, authenticity, is precisely what you've been quietly seeking, isn't it? When you finally stop pretending, even in the smallest of ways, you begin reclaiming parts of yourself you thought you'd lost forever. The freedom gained in honesty outweighs any comfort you've lost in pretending. It's not a freedom found in external approval or recognition. It's a quiet yet powerful freedom found in the simple, profound act of being truthful with yourself. And perhaps that's the most beautiful realization of all. True freedom isn't loud or flashy. It's the quiet strength found in the subtle moments when you choose to honor your own authenticity over someone else's expectations. It's the steady heartbeat of knowing you no longer need validation from outside sources to feel whole and worthy. So, ask yourself genuinely, right now, what would it feel like to finally let go of the pretense, to stand unmasked in the world as exactly who you truly are, without apologies or explanations? If these words, this message, has found you at exactly the right moment, if this feels less like a coincidence and more like the quiet whisper you've needed to hear, I'd like to invite you to consider taking another small step forward. Gently click that subscribe button. Not because I ask it, but because you're ready to continue exploring, healing, and growing alongside me. This journey of deep, authentic self-discovery is not quick or easy. It requires courage, patience, and honest introspection. But you don't need to walk it alone. By subscribing, you choose to stay connected, to journey further into understanding your inner self, your wounds, your truths, and your powerful ability to transform those broken pieces into a meaningful, fulfilling life. You've already made it this far, which means you've already begun changing, subtly, perhaps quietly, but undeniably. Together in future episodes, we'll dive deeper into insights, wisdom, and powerful reflections that help you heal, grow, and reconnect with your authentic self. Remember clearly, authenticity isn't a destination you reach once and remain forever. It's a practice, a daily commitment to truth, vulnerability, and courage. Are you ready to keep stepping forward? Are you ready to truly live your life, not just survive within the safe illusions of others? The choice is yours, as it always has been. Choose truth. Choose freedom. Choose you.